So in episode 2 of Before the 90 Days, we got opportunity to meet a new couple, Aviva and Stig. And this was an interesting one because you see, when it comes to Aviva, well, her aunt has been telling her that, hey, she needs to be careful about her man, purely because her aunt has history with being with men from the same freaking country. And she knows exactly how it all works in terms of the fact that when it comes to loyalty, that's not something that they're good at, especially if you do not live in the same country as them. But of course, just like any other person from 90 Day Fiancé in the past, she's given advice, but is she willing to listen to it? Absolutely freaking not. But let's listen to what her aunt had to say.
They actually just did a big concert like for Valentine's Day. The first song that was performed was Vicky, and it's about another girl, pretty, and I love you baby and all of this, and she was at the concert, left.
So this is the aunt literally telling Aviva that, listen, I was at the concert, or someone that I know was at the concert of Stig. Stig is the person that she's with, and he is an artist, and he performs in his country, and he's quite well known. At least that's what the storyline is so far. And of course, she's just letting her know, listen, this man is literally making a song about a whole other woman. So understand when I tell you this, you're not the only woman in his life. But of course, Aviva is not looking to want to hear none of that.
Together. Are you okay with all of that?
Believe that at all. He's been super respectful to me. He's been super sweet to me. If there's things I don't...
3,000 miles away from you.
Here's the thing. The man is 3,000 miles away from you, and she talks about he's been respectful to you, but how has he been respectful to you if he's making a song about a whole other woman? I mean, listen, this is like Usman and Kimberly. Remember when Usman obviously made a whole song about somebody else and Kimberly thought it was about her, even though her name wasn't even in the song? Yeah, that part. So really and truly, when it comes to her taking this advice, this is advice that she should definitely take seriously, not with a pinch of salt. But you see, when it comes to Aviva, she's been in a relationship since the age of 13 years of age. I found that little information so weird for her to say, I've been in a relationship since I was 13 years of age. She's now 26. And let's be real, if you've been in a relationship since you was 13 years of age and you're now 26, 13 years later, and you're still finding yourself chasing relationships, that tells you a lot about yourself. Maybe she needs to focus more on being single and working on herself rather than pursuing relationships with men or whoever she likes, if you dig what I'm saying. But not too much really happened with Aviva this episode, so that's why we're going to leave it there. So now we're going to move on to the next couple. Let's talk about Emma and ZIAD. Yes, this is a couple that we met last week for the very first time. And well, some people are not a fan of Emma and some people aren't a fan of ZIAD. But let's get into it, because boy, when it comes to telling the truth, ZIAD struggles to let that information come out of his freaking mouth.
Why?
I can't sleep with you. I can't. You say my girlfriend was my wife.
So are you serious right now? Okay, everything completely opposite what you said before I got here.
So here's the thing. We saw last week, right, when they were on the phone, when they were on FaceTime and she was at the beach, she simply asked him a simple question. When I get there, no, she didn't even ask, she just basically told him in a nutshell, and he agreed. She said, when I get there, we are going to have intimacy on the first night. He was like, nodded his head and agreed. Also at the same time, Emma also explained that ZIAD is not her first man from Morocco, which is very key information. The reason why this is key information is because she knows how men from Morocco actually are. And she said that the person that she was with before, and that man made it abundantly clear that there was never going to be any type of sexual physicality before marriage. So she respected it and continued the relationship with that man, knowing what the situation was. But when she met ZIAD, on the other hand, he told her that, listen, I will kiss you, I will sleep with you, I will give you all these things that you want in a physical way. So I understand that some people last week were saying, oh, what's wrong with these people from America? They go to these countries with lack of knowledge or without doing any research. But this is what makes Emma so different. She's already had the experience with a man from Morocco before, so she knows how it works. But the only thing is, she's now dealing with a man that just simply cannot tell the truth. So of course, she's expecting them two to be sleeping in the same bed as they're heading over to their accommodation. But then she finds out that nope, he's actually going to be sleeping in a whole other room. And we also saw the drama that happened at the airport when, of course, she tried to give him a kiss on the lips and he said nope. And he tried to give her the cheek, and of course, she stormed off and was clearly pissed. But let's continue with the rest of this madness.
My plan for me, I say to you.
We're looking at rentals to book, and I asked him, is it okay if we sleep in the same room? And he told me it's totally fine. We can sleep in the same room. There's no issues. But what can we do? What can't we do?
We can sleep together, go out. We can't make more than hugs or kiss and check.
Anything sexual?
No.
Crazy business. Yeah, you know, imagine turn up something thinking you're gonna get it down and then you find that it's not gonna happen. To be fair, this is what most men go through, to be honest with you, so yeah.
That's just not what you said before. We would talk about sex all the time. I've sent you nudes before. We would talk about having sex, sleeping in the same bed, but then I come here and that's all changed.
Now listen, I don't know if, okay, one thing that we do know is that for people who do come from the Islamic religion, we do know that predominantly, well, not predominantly, the rule is no physical touch with your wife until you get married or until she is your wife, right? So I'm curious, are you allowed to send nudes? Like, no, sorry, are you allowed to receive nudes from another woman? You see what I'm saying? Because obviously that's something that's never really been touched on before. And it's hard to kind of find out. So if there's anyone here who is a Muslim, okay, who is from the Islamic religion, let us know. If you're a man and a woman wants to send you nudes, are you allowed to say, yes, you can send them to me? Or are you supposed to say, no, I cannot see what you look like until after marriage? Because I would think that if you cannot be physical with a woman, then you probably can't see what she looks like until after marriage, especially given the fact that depending on what type of Muslim woman that you're obviously dealing with, a lot of them do stay fully covered up, and therefore no man can really see what they look like until it's actually behind the four walls and also after marriage. So I did find that quite interesting that he was more than happy to accept her sending nudes, but now he's talking about how they can't actually be physical together anymore. There's a lot about this guy that just isn't adding up, but nonetheless though, let's continue.
For me, you are more interested in sex more than love.
I don't care about sex more than love, so I don't know
And
why
why
you're
we
saying
talk
that.
about it?
Because you lied. You're talking about it because you haven't been truthful. The way this guy's playing dumb is actually very annoying.
You changed your mind about it. That's why I'm asking.
No.
I was looking at ZIAD social media and I realized that he followed thousands of women and I thought that was really shady. So I started to message a few of them. And
I mean, listen, when you start to message them, then that really shows the insecurity that you have within yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, listen, I get it. Sometimes in life, people want the answers. People want to find out, listen, who you're talking to, what you've been saying. And a part of it, there's nothing wrong with that. But it also, at the same time, it really does show you how insecure you are within yourself personally. But again, subjective. But either way, though, the second that she said that she started to send messages to some of these women, that's when you knew this whole situation was only going to go in one direction. But then it brings me to wonder, why did she still make the trip to Morocco? Why still be with this man if she now found out what she's about to tell us?
And it turned out that he was talking to one of the girls. He told me that these conversations were old and that he wasn't cheating on me. Now seeing how he's acting in person, it's making me question things.
It's crazy, isn't it? Sometimes people really struggle feeling rejection. So when they feel rejection, they think there must be a reason behind it. And sometimes when they think sometimes when it comes to thinking what the reason is, the reason that they always assume for the most part is there must be somebody else. I find that this is a reason that people who are insecure about the person that they're with really start to tend, because look at this way, right? If you're in a situation, in a relationship, whatever, with somebody, right, and you find that they're acting differently or whatnot, there's so many things that you can assume that could be the issue. But generally speaking, the first thing that you do is actually ask the person, hey, is something going on? Is something going on here? Is there a reason why you're behaving this way? Is there a reason why you've changed the way you are? And some people do ask that question. And sometimes when they ask that question, they will get the truth back. Some people get lies back. Now, of course, when you get the truth back, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to know when somebody's telling the truth. But of course, if you feel like they're lying, then I guess that's when people start to go into detective mode and they start to look at other avenues because things just aren't adding up. I don't know if Emma's one of those people that even if you tell her the truth, if she's going to believe you. Because here's the thing, you can tell someone the truth sometimes, but they'll still go off and do investigations. I reckon Emma's the kind of person that you can tell her the truth, but she will still go and do investigations because she needs answers to why this is happening, which is fine. I get it. But if you cannot trust the truth from the person that you're asking the question to, then really and truly, you shouldn't be in a relationship with that person. Not because that person's the issue, but because you've got a lot of work to deal with, you see what I'm saying? But of course, if you know that person's lying, then you find out that this person really has been doing a whole lot of madness, then of course, you go find the truth that you need to find, so therefore you can have your closure. But once you find out your truth and you get your closure, what are you supposed to do with that truth? You're supposed to leave, but instead of leaving, this young lady decided to still get on the plane.
Maybe he doesn't want to do anything physical with me because he would feel guilty cheating on them. I have no idea.
But yes, instead of, walking away and feeling like she can't trust him because she spoke to other women who have confirmed the communication with him, she still makes a trip to Morocco, still wants to sleep with him, still wants to marry him. But then because his attitude has continued in this format, well, not even continued, but because obviously he's then rejected her in person, even though he didn't do it on the phone, either way, now she's thinking maybe he doesn't want to be physical with me because of other women, which doesn't make any freaking sense. Is she okay in the head? Does she not realize that if he is sleeping with another woman and he's talking to another woman and he's talking to you, does she not realize that he's cheating on both of you? Listen, the only way you can say that somebody is cheating on one person or the other one is if the other person knows about it. You know what I mean? If you got a side chick, a side man, whatever, and he knows that you've got, or she knows that you've got fair enough, that person is in the loop, so therefore you're not cheating on that person, right? But if neither parties know, that means both of them are being cheated on. So the fact that she's now said that maybe he's afraid because he doesn't want to cheat on the other person is crazy, because one, understand that he's cheating on you too, and two, why would you care about him cheating on somebody else? Wouldn't you care more about him cheating on you? Yeah, well, Emma's one hell of a person that, well, it's hard for us to say that she makes sense, because for the most part, the woman doesn't make any sense. But nonetheless, though, we're going to move on to the next person, obviously, the next couple. So let's talk a little bit about Rick. Rick is somebody that we did meet last week, and this week we finally meet Trisha for the first time. Now, to be fair, not too much really went down with Rick and Trisha in this week's episode, but let's get into the nitty and gritty.
I trust him so much. Like, he's a faithful guy. This is totally different from my ex. That's why I want him to propose me.
So this is the thing that was quite interesting when it came to Rick and Trisha. Trisha is saying that she wants him to propose. But this is why this is a bit of an issue, right? Do you find that sometimes somebody can do you wrong, and then when they return in your life, they act as if nothing's ever happened before? Isn't that weird? Here's the thing. We know that when it came to Rick and Trish, very simple thing that happened here. She ghosted him pretty much for about 5 days. He said that he was getting barely any replies from her, and if he got a reply from her, it was like one word of replies that wasn't really saying too much. And she did that for a whole 5 days. She has not explained what happened in those 5 days since, but yet she's still expecting him to land in Madagascar, which is a 30-hour flight, and for him to just want to propose to her just like that. First and foremost, the fact that he's flying to Madagascar and taking that 30-hour flight and leaving his kids behind, not that it's a bad thing, because obviously he's chasing love or whatever, right? But the fact that he's obviously basically taking time out of his life to travel 30 hours to a woman who hasn't even given him answers regarding what? Regarding what should we do in the 5 days is crazy business. Maybe he's looking to travel because he wants to overstand. Remember the time before when we had Violet and Riley flew all the way to Vietnam to get answers from Violet, when we knew their relationship was pretty much already in the bin because the way Violet was behaving anyway. This isn't necessarily the same thing, but it has that same kind of vibe in terms of the fact that this man needs answers about something very, very crucial, but he's still going to make that trip regardless. It makes you really wonder. But hey, either way though, it's more interesting and more weird that Trisha is acting as if she's done nothing wrong, as if she doesn't owe this man any explanation, and she still expects him to get on one knee and be like, hey, will you marry me? The calamity. But I guess we'll find out more about exactly what went down with them, obviously, in the next episode, whichever episode that they do come back in the show, of course, because I saw from the clip, it looks as if she's about to tell him what really happened, and she's a bit afraid about what really happened. So we shall wait and see. But at the same time, though, I'm pretty sure Rick said that he's also got a secret to tell her too. So we're definitely in for a little twisty turn when it comes to both Rick and Trish. Yes. But nonetheless, though, let's get into the last couple for this week's episode. And this one here is a good old Forrest and Sheena. Yeah, this one's a very interesting one because Sheena is somebody at this moment in time we have identified as more or less of a scammer than someone that's actually genuine. But the question is, we're about to find out. Let's get into this one.
I don't like how your parents treated you, and I'm basically going to tell them that I'm taking you away from them. The feeling they don't.
When he said, I'm going to tell your parents that I'm taking you away from them, I was like, you put that sentence in the wrong context. It sounds like you're about to kidnap their kid. Boy, context is key, right? But anyway, either way. But the question is, why does he want to take her away from her parents. Now remember last week when he revealed that obviously he has sent her a set amount of money in a sort of bank account. Then he revealed that because of the money that he sent her, the money disappeared because her parents took it out of the account because they had access to the account, which is why his mum and himself have obviously more or less Forrest's mum has pretty much now said something's not adding up, something's a bit fishy when it comes to this money disappearing, because it wasn't just the one time, it happened either 2 or 3 times. But now we're in a different type of situation. We're now in a situation where, well, let's get into it.
Really like me, and that's probably because I literally made Sheena independent from them. Like right now, but Sheena has been working hard every day to save up for our lives together in America.
So the part that you just missed is that at this moment in time, Forrest is not working. He is jobless. So Sheena, she's a doctor or a nurse. She's been working to save up money for them to both use when she moves to the United States of America. I ain't gonna lie to you folks, I've never ever thought I'd ever come across a storyline where I'd hear that the person who is not the American would be saving money to support herself and the American once they're in America. That right there blew my mind, which is something that was definitely a plot twist for me personally, but now I sit and I wonder, interesting, so where is this going then? You know what I mean? But nonetheless though, let's continue real quick.
And when Sheena stopped giving her parents money, it did definitely cause a lot of tension. I had asked Sheena about how much money she saved up for the T1 visa. About a year ago, almost 2 years ago, she said she had about $4,000.
$4,000. Not too bad to be fair, especially when you consider the currency exchange as well. So that means she was working some hard hours.
But she let me know that she has been giving all her money to her parents. This is the 3rd time Sheena has lied to me about, giving her parents money.
So here's the thing, this is where things get a little bit techy. They get a little bit tricky for me. So originally when he was working, he was sending money into the bank account that Sheena owns, but didn't know that her parents also had access to that same bank account. Okay. But then the money he was putting in there, the parents then decided to take that money for themselves. Not once, but I believe twice, maybe even 3 times. And then now, because he's not working, she's now putting money into that bank account instead. But now the parents have also taken money out of that bank account as well. I mean, listen, if I was to assume, I guess the first thing that we could assume is that, well, the parents took the money the first time, she's not lying, that is the truth. Or she is lying, and even the money that she claims they put in this account, she was never put in the first place. She just keeps telling him these things just for the sake of telling him these things. Honestly, this is going to be one of the most confusing storylines so far when it comes to this whole money thing, because literally last week I was sitting there and all of us were sitting there and we were saying that this woman's a scammer, but this doesn't make sense. Now I'm sitting there thinking, hold on a minute, what kind of scam is going on? Is there a scam going on? And even if there are scammers, maybe she is innocent and it's just her family. Either way, I feel like we're going to be in for one hell of a roller coaster season with these two, and I feel like Forrest is about to be in for one hell of a headache. And his mum, on the other hand, oh boy, she's definitely going to be the MVP, I promise you now, because that woman is a hot head.
Her parents manipulate her, and they threaten her every day with throwing her around the street. This just proves that I need to get her away from her parents and just bring her back to the United States so we can begin our life together.
Ah, yes, I forgot about this. So Sheena claims that her parents threaten her. They threaten to make her homeless all the freaking time, and that's why she gives them the money whenever they want it. You know what's interesting though, right? How can your parents threaten you to be homeless if you don't give them money? I mean, no, I worded that wrong. Let me start again. If I've got money and my parents are threatening to throw me out unless I give them my money, well then why would I not take my money and just live somewhere else? I've got money now. They clearly need my money to survive, but if I take my money with me, well then what? So if anything, you could argue and say that the parents are playing a bluff, given that this is all true, right? Damn. But you know, reverse psychology is one hell of a demon, if that's what they're doing to her anyway.
But he decided to talk to his mother, and Sheena, I am very disappointed, and my trust in you, it has been completely broken, permanently. Understand that? How could you?
By the way, all of these messages that she's receiving now are coming from his mother.
Do this to him, to our family. You on my son, you on your whole relationship, you no excuse. As far as I'm concerned, Forrest needs to end the relationship with you.
So obviously, this is what I mean about his mum being a hothead. So the mum is obviously now sending messages behind her son's back. It's crazy because here's the thing, the mum is hoping that her son will not want to, because first and foremost, he told his mum that he's going to be staying in the Philippines for a little bit longer, so therefore they can come back to the United States together. That's what he said. The mum doesn't want him to do that. How is the mum going to expect her son to want to come back to the United States any sooner if she's doing these kind of shady things behind his back? Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that he's going to end up not trusting his mum and potentially saying, no mum, I'm choosing my woman over you. There is that potential chance because she's trying to do damage control. I don't know what she's trying to do, but whatever she's trying to do is definitely not for the best. You see what I'm saying? It's only going to make things somewhat worse. So this is where things get very, very sticky now, isn't it? I understand that she's frustrated. I understand that she wants to protect her son, because also on top of that, this has happened to me in the past with another woman as well. But
Forrest did happen to forgive me, but I'm worried that Molly would try to break up me and Forrest.
I mean, to be honest with you, can you blame his mum though? You know, her son's been in a relationship with you for 7 years. In that 7 years, he has sent you money after money after money, and all that money is then disappeared because you say your parents taken it. Then at the same time, you tell him that you're going to save money and you've saved 4K, and all of a sudden that 4K then just disappears because your parents took it again. And everything that's going on with the money, you seem to be putting all the blame onto your parents, but taking no accountability at all in any shape or form. Because let's not forget, she's a grown-ass woman. You see what I'm saying? She has the ability to say no to her parents. But of course, when it comes to certain cultures, how we're raised, sometimes we just do what we do because that's just how our parents have raised us. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a bit of a sticky one. Either way though, this right here is going to be the relationship of the season so far from what I've seen. And it's going to be probably hella confusing. Do I feel sorry for Forrest? No, because he's been through this rodeo before. End of the day, the same situation happened with the woman from Indonesia. In fact, when he went to Indonesia, that woman pretty much made him sleep in a whole different location compared to where he was sleeping. That whole thing was a whole freaking calamity, yeah, I'll keep that word to myself. But obviously in this situation here, he's been with her for 7 years. She has obviously lost money or taken money or stolen money, however you want to label it, from him for time and time again, and he is still stuck around. He's old enough, he's got the common sense enough now to understand when somebody's doing him wrong. But because he's potentially on the spectrum, he's obviously someone that I guess is still got that desperate in him to really want to try and make things work, even though things in front of him is clear that they're not working. Yeah, either way, I don't feel sorry for him. It's been 7 years, buddy. The fact that it's taken him 7 years to even go and see her should tell him something. 7 years with thousands being lost. Yeah, that's crazy business. Crazy business. Well, either way, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. We'll talk about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.